Managing conflict the right way. Perception of conflict. There are different perceptions of conflict. Conflict can be defined or described as confrontation, verbal argument, a disagreement, differences in opinion, avoidance of confrontation, ignoring the other person, changing the topic, expressions of anger, or an unhappy relationship. Conflict happens when there are incompatible goals and incompatible needs. Incompatible goals occur when we seek different outcomes. For example, when we want to buy a car, we realize that we can't afford it, so we have to get a different car instead of the one that we wanted. Then there's incompatible means, which occur when we want to achieve the same goal but have a different outcome of trying to do it. For example, Jenny and Ruby want to buy the same car, but they do not know whether they should finance it or pay cash. Conflict is not bad. Most people have a negative view of conflict. They may feel that conflict is painful to go through, can destroy relationships, and believe that the best way to deal with conflict is to avoid it or walk away from it. Conflict is good. On the other hand, some people have a positive view of conflict. They are aware that conflict happens and knows that conflict can be resolved. Because of this perception, they feel that conflict can be restored and help improve a relationship. Conflict will happen. The truth is that conflict happens to everyone. It is a part of every relationship, and conflict is inevitable. As relationships become closer, more personal, and more interdependent, more conflict occurs. Okay, this leads to the confrontation process. Confrontation is when both individuals bring up the problem that caused conflict and is able to express their feelings and attitudes towards that conflict. First is preparation. Before you confront the other person, you must first figure out what the problem is, be able to recognize your thoughts and feelings and your needs towards that person. Second is tell the person that we need to talk. Using this statement is an invitation to confront the problem. 3. Interpersonal confrontation. You want to talk to the other person about your problem. You want to address any problems, needs, or issues that you may have with that person. 4. Consider the other person's point of view. You want to listen, emphasize, and respond with understanding. During this stage, it is important to put yourself in the other person's shoes. That way you can fully understand why conflict has occurred and will then be able to progress into resolving conflict. The 5th step is resolve the conflict or the problem. Make a mutual, satisfying agreement where both parties are happy. An example would be that Sally agrees to do the dishes and Bob decides to take out the trash. 6 is follow up on the resolution. Set a time limit for reevaluation. It is important to see that over time to reevaluate the conflict and make sure that resolution still takes place. Next is the TLC approach, and that stands for stop, think, listen, and communicate. The first step is to stop. Being able to stop helps you gather your emotions and calm down. Next, you want to think logically about the situation. Then, you want to listen carefully to the other person so you can get a better understanding of where they are coming from and why conflict has occurred. Next, or after all of these steps have been completed, you want to figure out how you want to communicate so you can help resolve the conflict. Using I statements. So when we communicate, it is important to use I statements. Using sentences that start with I, such as I think or I feel, is an assertive and personalized communication because we are owning up to our own thoughts and feelings. This statement is less threatening to the other party, and by doing so, you are able to communicate your feelings and directs the conflict into resolution. Use statements. In contrary, using use statements is a depersonalized communication because you are blaming the other person for how they feel. Because of this blame, leads the other person to get defensive and can increase negative emotions. Because there is an increase in negative emotions, it can make conflict worse and can increase how much conflict there is. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to role play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a you statement, and someone is going to turn the you statement into an I statement. So do I have any volunteers?
Joe. Me.
Go ahead. Okay. Okay, so the first sentence is, Joe, you make me mad. So how would you make that into an I statement?
Arlene, I feel mad.
Okay. Okay, the second one is, Joe, you do not appreciate me.
Arlene, I feel unappreciated.
Okay. 3, you don't care about me.
Arlene, I don't feel cared for.
Good.
Yeah,
Give
very
everyone,
good.
give Joe a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so next, how to manage anger. So when conflict arises, it is really easy to get upset and get angry. So the first thing that we want to do is take a time out. Trying to walk away from the situation. It's the first thing that you want to do. Second, you want to do relaxation exercises. So for an example, you might want to try practicing breathing to calm down, to control your physical response to anger. And then 3 is self-talk. So talking things through before you react is really important. 4, you want to seek an alternative way to release your anger in a positive way. So an example of this is I like to go running when I'm upset. Okay, and then the 5th step is that you want to try to uncover the emotion that is being disguised as anger. So even though you are upset, there might be something that's causing you to be upset, and you want to figure out what that is. And forgive. The most important thing you want to do is forgive. Forgiveness is a cognitive process that consists of letting go of feelings of revenge and desires to retaliate. Being able to do this will help you restore the relationship, and it is good for your mental and physical health. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope that all of you have enjoyed and hopefully learned something about how to manage conflict the right way. And I also have some handouts for you guys, kind of everything that we went over through, all the important concepts that I will hand out right now.
All right.
All right.